Yeah. Hey, everybody. Welcome to this episode of Something Suddenly Came Up, a retro review. As always, I'm Leann, the kid sis of this lovely lady, the Groovy Granny, and we're going to talk about all things 60s, 70s, and 80s, pop culture, all the fun stuff. And today, Groovy Granny, tell everybody at home what we're covering.
Well, we felt like in our last video, when people really seemed to enjoy the retro stores that were no longer around and us talking about that, we thought we would do then retro restaurants, some of which are still around, some of which are not. So we hope that this will be as fun, and I'm ready to rock and roll with it.
Now, these Groovy Granny are more the like fast food type, right?
Yes,
They do include some regular restaurants in there
we'll,
too.
we'll
More the
come back.
fast food. Yeah, yeah. Okay, okay.
We'll come back around and do the sit down restaurants at another time.
This, I had to really search my memory banks, I have to
I did
admit,
too.
because I want to say this caveat, and God rest his soul. Our dad was a little tight when we were younger. And so we didn't really go to a lot of restaurants unless we were with mom and her best friend Liz on the weekend
Yes.
sometimes. So some of that was at a very young age. So I was trying to remember the real goodies that I remember from really that I really was kind of hanging out in the 70s a lot on this list, but a
Yeah.
little bit dipped my toe into the 80s. But okay, what's your number five?
Well, my number five is an old pizza place called Shakey's.
Oh, yeah.
And it was a really fun place. If I am recalling Shakey's correctly, it was sort of like the same sort of look as Farrell's. Like it felt like it was like a 1920s kind of
Yes.
vibe there.
Yes.
And it was just one of those fun places. And a lot of people had birthday parties and get-togethers, meetups, and things like that at that place. And I just remember it being really fun. I cannot at all recall the pizza, except I believe my husband, um, when we first started dating, there was, I believe it was Shakey's right near where he lived, and he found out they had taco pizza, which,
Oh, I do vaguely remember that. Yeah.
yes, I think he could have eaten it every night easily because
Oh
it
my God.
was a really good taco pizza.
I don't remember where was Shakey's in our neck of the woods back when we were kids. Where
I
was
think there
Shakey's?
was a Shakey's in downtown Wheaton, but I do not remember where. But the
Okay.
one that I'm talking about with him was up in Gaithersburg.
Yeah. Okay.
For all
Okay.
the people who are in our area,
Uh-huh. I
you'll know where
definitely
we're
remember
talking about.
the name Shakey's for sure. I remember the name, but I don't, that's what I don't
Yeah.
remember. Interesting. That is kind of goes along with mine because my number five is Jerry's Pizza. Now, I'm not sure if that's still around, but that was a little chain in our DC, Maryland area. And going to my point about dad would let us, we would have at-home pizza on Friday nights. That kind of we got him headed the right direction to maybe go out to eat. And then we segued to Jerry's on Friday nights. And we would actually go and sit in Jerry's. And it was kind of yeah, kind of, at the pickup window, and you sat in the restaurant, but it wasn't fancy. But they had ginormous slices of pizza. I remember it being really good. And I feel like it was around through the 80s, right? Certainly. Even the 90s, maybe. What do you think,
Was
Jerry?
definitely there, maybe even into the 2000s, because
Okay.
if it's the one I'm thinking of, the one that became the chain. Now, here's something interesting.
Hmm.
My number one is Jerry's Subs,
Oh, it's the
but
same thing I'm talking about. I'm
it is,
sure of it. Yes.
but it actually originated in downtown Wheaton as a little hole in the wall where I don't think at that time they did pizza. They did
Oh.
only subs, and it was so good. And when the Jerry's, they particularly had a steak and cheese that you could literally die for.
You're not wrong because I'm now remembering we had this little griddle thing in our house. And on Fridays, what how mom got dad warmed up to go out was we did once in a while have Totino's frozen pizza. But
Oh,
when she
we have
got him
those
warmed
now.
up, do you but she got him warmed up to going out to eat by they would cook steakums. If anybody knows
Yeah.
what They're kind of bad. And we would make steak and cheeses at home. This was definitely my pre-vegan era, everyone, just so you know. But so we would have steakums at home, and then we dipped our toe into going to Jerry's. But that's how we really got dad out, was the steak and cheeses at Jerry's. And then our little brother and I, we would start having pizza once he came along at Jerry's.
Well, I'm sure he probably went to the original Jerry's because at one point he worked very close to where the original Jerry's was.
Oh, in Wheaton.
So I'm surprised he didn't feel a little bit like I do. I never felt like the subs were once it became a chain were
Oh,
up to the quality of the original.
I'm mostly recalling the Jerry's that was in Aspen Hill. That's where we
Okay.
would go quite a bit. There was a Jerry's in Aspen Hill in the strip mall where I think Giant is in that strip mall.
Yeah. That was when the
Mhm.
Jerry's became the chain. Yeah.
Right, the red and white. I think like red and white logo is how I'm remembering it. But yeah,
Yes.
Jerry's.
Yes.
They had like an extra large pizza you could get, and the slices were like this big. It's insane. But good. I remember it being good. But yeah, Jerry's Pizza. I don't think it's around anymore.
Yeah. No, I think you're right. I think they went out of business. I'm
I
not sure.
did.
I think they were bought by one of those conglomerate, which is happening to so many of the chains. I guess maybe to try and save them, but the quality and service always goes down once that happens. And that definitely happened to Jerry's for sure.
Right, 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 for sure. But I do
That's
remember it
funny
being good
because
at the
the
time.
original Jerry's, the good old, the taste of the steak and cheese, I don't know what they did to it, but it was special.
We don't want to know what kind of steak.
And it was not easy to park at. So like
Oh no,
you
nothing
had
in
to
downtown Wheaton is really or
right,
was.
right. So you had to really, really commit to
Mhm.
loving these steak and cheese. And believe
Did
me,
the original Jerry's also have like Italian subs too? Was it a
they
sub
had
shop?
every kind of sub. But I
Because
think what you're thinking of
what am I
is
thinking of?
Marshones.
Yes, I am thinking of Marchon's. Yes, mom.
Marshones was known for their Italian sub.
Yes, when mom was pregnant with our brother, she always had a Marchon's Italian cold cut sub.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's what she
they
said.
were
I think
rather
it's with
special.
James. Yeah, yeah, I'm pretty sure. One of us.
Honest, honestly, the Jersey Mike's sub, where they call Mike's Way, reminds me a lot of the old Marshones.
Oh
That it
wow.
had that whatever that oil mixture is, they
Yeah.
would put on it. It is real good.
Oh my gosh. We took a side trip to Marchon's, but that was hard to park at. I remember
Yes,
that. That was on
that
the
was
main
as
drag
well.
at Wheaton.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. All right. I kind of hijacked your number five with my other pizza, but what's your number four?
My number 4 is also pizza.
Okay, good.
And I believe this may have just been a local or regional. I don't know if there was another one other than the one, and it was called Trolley Car.
I remember it. I was very, very little, but I won a coloring contest there and I got a stuffed animal. Mhm.
Well, we used to go to Trolley Car after most of the football and basketball games, and
Mhm.
it was just a vibe. They had a really great jukebox that, played the whole time you were there. And the pizza, I remember being really good, but it was more just the vibe and the hangout place. And I just have fond memories of it for sure.
Am I recalling this correctly, or was it kind of on the way out towards Rockville Pike?
No, Trolley Car was, the old apartments that we used to live in?
Yeah.
It was basically a kind of across the street from that.
Okay, that makes sense. That makes more
Yeah.
sense because I feel like I was so little when we went there that we may even have still. When did we move? When I was like three or four?
Yeah, like 1973, I think. So you were even
Okay.
younger than that.
Yeah, so maybe not. We must have gone back there because I know I would have been like probably four or five when I won this coloring contest.
Well, it was definitely around then because,
Yeah,
all through it was high school that we went there the most. So that was,
yeah.
you
Our
know, so
cousins were there when I won the contest.
well, it was very close to their house.
Yeah,
I'm
yes, for
sure they
sure.
could have walked to it for
For
sure.
sure. Oh my gosh. I
But
love
it,
that.
it
Travel
was a
Park
really cool
pizza.
vibe, and I have fond memories of the
Oh, I
post
love that.
game pizza.
I love that. My number four is a little bit weird, I think, but it's not exactly fast food, but it was fast. So we would go on, it's not fast, like they didn't have it pre-made, nothing like that. But When I was very little, we would go to Montgomery Mall with Liz and my mom's best friend Liz and my mom, and we would eat at the counter at the People's Drug in the mall.
The People's Drug had a cat?
Yeah. Now, I'm not sure if it was still a People's then or if it was a Dart, but it was inside the mall, and they had a little counter where you sat and ate, and we had would have burgers and stuff there. And the weirdest part was it was real tasty. It wasn't like eating at the Zares with the hot dog going around on the spit. A guy
For
made
several
it.
days.
Yeah, a guy made it in
I
front of
do
you.
not remember People's having a
I think it's People's, it's the drugstore. I went on and double checked what was the drugstore in Montgomery Mall, but I think it was maybe People's. Liz, are you watching? But we would go to the counter there sometimes and sit at the counter. And it's so weird because you're kind of sitting in the store. You're really sitting
is
in the store.
interesting.
And it
Now,
was old school counter, like the counter, the grill, and the chairs went like you're facing the grill.
wow, that's vintage People's for sure then.
Yeah, yeah,
I
yes.
love that.
Yeah, and I just remember it being very tasty.
I loved Montgomery Mall. That was a great
I did
mall.
too. That was our stomping grounds for shopping with
Yeah.
your mom on
It is
Saturday.
a mall that is still in
Is
existence.
it? Is it?
Mhm.
You know what? I just saw that Lake Forest Mall is abandoned.
It's been demolished.
Yeah, has it since then?
Mhm.
Oh wow. Yeah, I guess the malls are a thing of the past since we
Yeah,
order everything now. But
I
such great
know.
times. It was like a whole culture. That's a whole other episode, by the way. I'm
Yes.
feeling like the mall culture is a whole other
Yeah,
episode.
I agree. That would be
So,
fun.
so my number four is the People's Drug Lunch Counter.
Well, that is so interesting because I do not remember that at all. But I
Now,
love
look, I'm going from my elementary school brain, so hopefully I'm remembering it correctly. But I can like visceral, I can feel like sitting on the seat. It's one of those seats that goes swirl, swirl to the side. You know what I'm
yes, I absolutely do. Yes.
talking about?
That's so fun.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, my number 3, I'm going in the way, way back machine.
Okay,
And
let's
I'm
all go
about to
in.
be like you because I'm remembering more as a pretty little girl. Not
Okay,
pretty little girl,
but
you know what I
yeah,
mean?
you were pretty
A
little, but
very
you were a
little
pretty
girl.
little girl. We can verify that. That's okay. But I know what you meant. You're pretty little.
Yes. But it was a place called Gino's. And do you have Gino's on yours?
Okay, wait. I'm going to let you finish. I promise. I
Okay.
had in the back of my brain Geno's. I would have been so little, right? It's way back that I
It's
actually crossed it out. Don't look at this weird writing, but actually crossed Geno's out.
okay. Well, I don't know when Gino's went out of business.
Hmm.
Because when I'm thinking Geno's, it was definitely just me and mom and Liz. Those,
Hmm.
so, 5, 6, 7, 8,
Hmm.
so I don't know how long after that
Hmm.
it went on. But
Right.
the Geno's that you might be talking about, I think there was also a Geno's over by the Stained Glass Pub.
Yes, that's
Somewhere
what I'm
over around in,
remembering in that area. I feel like there's
yeah.
Geno's, but is that a sub shop? Maybe that's something different. But I feel like it was a fast food hamburger joint. Is that what
It
Geno's
it
was?
it did start as hamburgers, but my big memory of it is the one that was in Tacoma Park, and it was the first place to carry Kentucky Fried Chicken.
That's right. It turned into KFC or got
Yes,
bought out by
I
KFC.
think
That's
so. But
right.
yes, it was Geno's Hamburgers, but
Yes.
they then took on the KFC.
I feel like that's what I'm remembering. It is in that stained glass pub area.
Yes.
Our cousins need to weigh in because they would know the answer to both of these questions that we're plotting out there right now. They would definitely know. Well, what do you remember eating there with mom and Liz?
Well, mom and Liz both loved the chicken, and we would
Okay.
so at that time there was no money.
Right,
Like, I
right.
don't know how my mom did it. I swear to God I don't. And a lot of times without Liz, Liz would always a lot of times pay for my dinner to
Hmm.
help mom out.
Hmm.
But they had to, I think, save up to go
Yeah.
to Gino's and get like a bucket of chicken or whatever. And it
Hmm.
was so good back then. Oh my goodness. It was really, really good. And a funny story. So bless Liz's heart. Liz, I hope you watch our
I
videos.
do
We talk
too. We
about
love you
you
so
all
much.
the
Liz,
time.
she's part of all our great memories, really.
She was everything
Hmm.
to us. And particularly for me as a little kid, she was always there for us. And so it's when we talk about you, it's always with a big old heart. Um, but she, when we were really tight on money, she would make sandwiches for us because we would always go on these little rides in the car because, as Leann mentioned once before, my mom didn't drive. And she would pack things like olive and cream cheese sandwiches or watercress sandwiches. And mom would be like, "What is this?"
Liz was
I mean,
always a vegetarian at heart.
I
Oh,
mean, she was so kind though to do this, you
well,
know.
Di, a small side note is this was before my dad, and obviously before me, our dad, and before me and our brother. But Liz, our mom met our dad because Liz was dating his friend, and she would bring said sandwiches, olives, and watercress to the racetrack to feed the guys. They were always they're expecting ham and cheese, perhaps, but I'm with Liz on that. I think they need some vegetarian food.
As a little girl, it's a tough sell on an olive and cream cheese sandwich. I would try because I
You
didn't
don't want to
want
hurt her
mom to get
feelings.
upset,
Yeah.
like I would try to eat it, but anyway,
Oh
that's a funny
God.
side note, but we would just love when they would save up a little bit of money
And
and
go
be
to
able to go
Gino's.
get Gino's
Oh
for a
gosh.
bucket of chicken.
Oh
It
my
was
gosh.
so good. I treasure those times for
I
sure.
love that. I love that. Um, my number three is a weird pick. I picked it more because it's regional. It has such a specific vibe, and the building is like burned in my memory from being a kid. 'Cause it's such a special looking little building, and that's in the heart of Wheaton. There's a little shop called Little Tavern.
Mm,
Closest thing you can liken it to is probably White Castle.
White Castle, yeah.
But I think Little Tavern, was it a regional restaurant or was it a restaurant all by itself? I don't know. But it had those weird little sliders, just like you think of with White Castle. But do you remember that
I believe there were little taverns all
in other
over. I don't know if
places?
it's just Maryland, like you said. I know there
Uh-huh.
was one over by College Park. Um,
But such a specific little building, right? Just there across from Wheaton Plaza, just kind of nestled in just
yeah,
such
they
a
were all
small.
those little bitty places.
Yes,
Mm,
yes. And
and
people
if
would
for
go in to get a
anybody,
stack of burgers.
it was, yeah, and they were the strangest little burgers. Yeah, I guess you would call them sliders now, but they had onions inside the
Oh, so
burger,
you
which
guys know I never took a single bite of one, just so you
me
know.
either.
Onions are my kryptonite.
No,
Yeah.
onions are not in my playbook.
But if you grew up in the Wheaton area, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Little Tavern was just a little landmark there, I feel like.
It was a very regular stop by
Yeah.
the boys that I hung out with in high school.
I bet them for they had the munchies or whatever.
It
Let me
was
get
the
20 of
70s,
these.
folks.
Yeah. How many can I eat of these? Yeah. Oh
Yeah.
gosh. But that's what I remember. I don't know if White Castle does this too, but those grilled onions. Oh, I picture though dad probably getting maybe, well, he always brought his sandwiches, but I could picture if he did get something on his lunch hour, that was close to where he worked, but plus
Yes, it
the
was.
price was right and you got a lot for, I bet,
You got a lot for your money for
you got
sure.
a lot for your money. But it was right across the first place that I took piano lessons at.
Oh,
I
okay.
remember that. Yep. Yep. With a
That was
fella.
also near like that. Wasn't it called Joe's Diner or something that he used to go to every day for
Yes,
lunch?
it's pretty, it's down from there. Yeah, Joe's is up a little further.
Yeah.
It's very close to Dad's built work building. Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
I feel like little taverns down. Remember, I feel like Andy, that's our cousin, correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like he would call it LT. I feel like people just said going to LT instead of little tavern. But it's more just a landmark in my mind than anything else because
I
I
wonder if it's still there. and it's changed to maybe a White Castle. I don't know if
I
they're the
don't
same thing
know.
with just a name change.
It's just such a weird, specific little store, but
It
so
is.
quirky and kind of cute in a way. Not
Yeah.
I wouldn't again, not my bag,
No.
but yeah, so that's more of a childhood landmark, but definitely something that I don't think was all over the country. I could be
You
wrong.
almost have to bring that up
You do. You
because it was
do.
such a staple for so many people.
Right. Yes, in Wheaton for sure. Little South. Oh my
Yes.
gosh. Oh
So what
man.
am I on? My number two?
You're on your number two, yeah.
So my number two again is very close to my heart, and it goes back to the 1960s as well. And it was Hot Shops Drive-In.
Oh, wait, what? Drive-in? I had
Yes,
it on my honorable mentions, regular hot shops where you go through the line and you take the Jello or the
Hot
whatever off
Shops
the line.
Cafeteria. Yeah.
Yes.
Well,
What's
they
the
also had
drive-in
a
like?
drive-in. It was in downtown Langley Park,
Oh,
and
wow.
Liz and Mom and I, the usual people you hear about, would go there. And it was the situation where you put your window down and they bring the tray
Just
and
like
you
on
eat
Happy
your food.
Days.
Yes.
Oh my
And
gosh.
again, such fond memories and a lot of interesting things, that you witness as a child. And I can remember very clearly sitting at the Hot Shop Drive-In in the car eating, and all of these like Army Reserve or something trucks were going down to Washington, D.C. because there was a very large riot down there at the time because of a death of a familiar person. And um, it was just one of those things that seared into
Mhm.
your mind seeing
Yeah.
that.
Oh my
And
gosh. And you associate the two. That's interesting.
yes, I do. But this Hot Shops Drive-In had the most delicious hot dogs.
Oh,
They had
yeah.
those grilled buns.
Oh, they were like squarish almost,
Yeah, they were
right? They like,
squarish, almost like
yeah.
a little cradle, a
I
little
remember
crib
that. Yeah.
for the
Yeah.
for the hot
You
dog.
sure were.
It
I
was
do remember that.
so good.
Hot
That
Shops
was what I
had
would
the best, the sit down version of Hot Shops is Hot Shops. When I was little, I thought it was called Hot Chops, even though they had no, they might have had pork chops somewhere.
they
I don't know.
probably did.
But it was also when I was very little, I thought Carol Burnett's name was Care Burnett, like it was my word. But anyway,
Oh,
that's a story for another day. The Care Burnett show. Anyway, I remember they had really good. Mom would get this like, oh my gosh, this decadent looking cake that had a bit like a chocolate cake and then a square of ice cream and the chocolate cake and then the hot sauce over the top. I
I think
forgot what it
that
was
was
called.
Bob's Big Boy.
Oh, is that Bob's Big Boy? Are
I
you
think that
sure?
was the hot fudge cake, unless it started in
Oh.
Hot Shops because
Oh
they were
no, you
owned
might
by
be
the same
right.
people.
You might be right. But I do remember Hot Shops having like decadent Sundays and stuff.
Very good Sundays. And
Maybe
and
you're right
they
about
had
that.
something, was that where the Mighty Mo was? Because Mom loved that Mighty
I
Mo.
don't know. She would call that a separate thing. She would say, or maybe she was calling the Hot Shops Drive-In Mighty Mo's. But she would
Oh,
say, we're
maybe.
cruising down to Mighty Mo's. In high school, her and Liz and Shirley and Carol, shout out Shirley and Carol, would go to Mighty Mo's. Or maybe it was to get Mighty Mo's. You're right. She'd always say Mighty Mo's.
I wonder if that Hot Shops drive-in more into the 50s was a Mighty Mo instead
Maybe
of the Hot
so.
Shops.
Maybe so. And Liz would drive as always. She would drive
Of
everybody
course.
there. Oh man. Well,
It's
my,
funny because I was trying to remember exactly where it was.
mhm,
And it's exactly where I thought. And what's weird is they've put like a metro stop there now, it looks like, or something.
okay.
But it looks like they still have like the Mighty Mo like thing across it.
Like
That,
the
or not the
setup.
Mighty Mo thing, the, well, if it was that, but like the little things you go up and park to and
Oh,
speak.
that's
It
funny.
looked like those were kind of still there. So I don't
Hmm.
know
I wonder if
if it
it's
was
like a
just kind of a
historical
tribute
thing.
or
That's what I'm wondering.
yeah.
I know mom would say, and I think I can mention this, but when they had to be careful going because the Langley Dukes were out. They were like a little
Oh,
club
like
of
a
like
hanger.
a gang. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Interesting.
Yeah, yeah. I remember that about that's a side note about going to the Mighty Mo's. Oh my gosh. Well, that's a detour because I had an honorable mention Hot Shops Cafeteria
Yes.
because our dear Liz liked to sit down lunch. Mom didn't
Yes,
always
she did.
like that, but she liked to sit down lunch. And what you did was you went through the line with your cafeteria tray, but it wasn't like lunch counter stuff. It was like roasted chicken. I'll take that, please.
Yes, mashed
Mashed
potatoes, green
potatoes, thank
beans.
you.
Yeah.
Yes. And then you found a table and sat down. And if you got something real fancy, they had to give you that little triangle with a number on it. You put it on your table and they're like, here's your
Yeah.
spare ribs or whatever the fancy item would be. But
Right.
but I do remember doing that once in a while. And that would get mom a little steamed up because didn't have the patience for it. But also, it probably bit into her money.
Well, I was going to say we didn't get to go inside the hot shops very
Mhm.
often because
Mhm.
that was pretty pricey for us
Right,
for
right.
sure.
This was, but I'm thinking regular hot shops, the cafeteria version, and then the drive-in are maybe three separate entities, right? Because there's probably a hot shops version where you sit down and the waitress comes with the food.
Yes, I
But
think
yeah,
there is that. And
yeah,
maybe that's what that Hot Shops was. I can't remember. I do know there was a Hot Shops cafeteria
that's what I'm
down in
recalling.
Chevy Chase for sure.
That's what I'm recalling for sure. I love that. My number two is kind of a departure from that. It is a burger joint that was, I think, regional. It was called Burger Chef.
Mm,
And again, it was one I only got to go to on the weekends if Liz was there. And it was in Aspen Hill, I'm pretty sure, Di, yeah.
I think, and again, I could be wrong. People who grew up in our area, please help us out here. I think the Burger Chef, when we first moved to that house,
Okay.
was where I think it's a McDonald's now, but it was a Roy Rogers.
Oh, that corner there.
That corner, literally right
Oh,
across from like the pizza oven. I think that started as a Burger Chef, but was there
okay.
also something called Burger Junior or something Junior?
Oh,
Not not
not
Carl.
Carl's Jr. Yeah,
No,
that's not even in our area, I don't think. Um, The thing I liked about Burger Chef is they had a fun meal. Even before, we didn't really go to McDonald's that much. I don't even know if McDonald's had Happy Meals at first, did they? They just had the
I
burger
don't
and the
think they
fries.
did. Yeah.
But Burger Chef had a fun meal and it kind of propped open, and your burger was in there and your fries. And then, again, help me, folks. I feel like there was a coin inside where you could redeem it for an ice cream or a sundae or something.
I think you're
And
right.
I can remember this cheesy little puppet, and all it was a plastic glove, and you stick your hand in, and it had Burger Chef and his pal Jeff. So him
Yeah.
is a Laurel and Hardy vibe. Burger Chef's the big guy, Jeff's the little guy. But I remember Burger Chef and his pal Jeff, and we would go to and it was very rare to go to Burger Chef, but it felt special because there was something in it that I feel like you redeemed something. I might be wrong.
You're right.
People,
I
fill us
think
in.
you're right. I think I read somewhere that Burger Chef was the very first Happy Meal type
It was
thing.
called Fun Meal. This I do remember, a Fun Meal. But it was so cute. It propped up and it was it had little cartoony things on it and a little slot for all your stuff.
Was there a Burger Chef Junior?
I don't know. I don't know on that
That's
one.
going to drive me crazy now. It
There
was a
was.
Roy Rod. It was whatever this burger place was first when we first moved
Mhm,
there. Then it turned into a Roy Rogers, and I
mhm.
think now it's a McDonald's.
Yeah, yeah. But I just remember seemed very special. It was my first recollection of getting a toy in a meal like that,
Yeah,
having a kid specific meal.
right.
Now every place has kid meals. When we
Yes,
were kids, right? If you went to a steakhouse, well, you had to eat a part of mom's steak. If you went here or there weren't kid meals. There weren't buttered noodles or whatever.
that's
You had to
exactly
eat
right.
something, yeah. But I don't recall them. Maybe kids' portions, but
And what's
actual kids menu.
interesting at like nicer restaurants, and I don't mean like super expensive restaurants. I just mean more like what you would deem a more adult restaurant.
Right.
They would not even consider putting kids items because I think back then they didn't really want you to bring your kids to those restaurants. You know what
I
I mean?
in Wheaton, I think it might finally not be there anymore, but it was called Anchor Inn, and
Mhm.
it was a fish restaurant, but a
Yes.
nice down restaurant. And I
Uh-huh.
remember mom and dad would go there for their anniversary, but they would always bring me along. So I remember being a real little kid sitting at this fancy restaurant, and I had to eat just a portion of something.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Now, even restaurants you would never think would have a kids meal have
Have a
some
kid.
sort
Yeah.
of kids
Yeah.
portion of some
Yeah.
sort.
That was
But
very much an era like you got a babysitter and you went out to dinner or
yes.
you went with your
Yes.
adult friends somewhere, but not our parents, right? They took us everywhere. Obviously, poor Liz, she's probably like these kids. But no, they took us everywhere. They really did.
It's
So,
true.
yeah,
Well, they got yeah, and in my littleness, we could have never afforded to eat at a place like that.
right, right,
When you
right.
talk about steakums, now get your little violin out for me, but I thought steakums were steak. Like,
Well,
that's all I knew as,
they're
like
meat, I guess. I mean,
I'm not even sure about that, honestly.
there's a different locale than I don't know.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, so yeah, Burger Chef is my number two.
and you already know my number 1, it was the original Jerry Subs.
Okay.
But I do have a couple that I
Yeah,
thought I
give me
would
some
bring up.
honorable mentions. I have some
So,
too.
of course, we've talked about it before. There's Pizza Oven, which I absolutely think was just a one shop of that. I
Yes, that
think.
was local near our house. We could walk to it. I could smell it right now.
Yeah, the pizza was to die for. Honestly, I was a thin girl, but I could eat almost an entire pizza myself. It was so
Same, same. It's a rectangle. I think it's
yes,
a
yes.
rectangle, and they cut it into squares. And boy, it was super greasy, but man, it was
It was
good.
so good, and their steak and cheese was also really good.
Yep, yep, yep. Yes, yes.
The
Didn't
other one oh, I'm sorry,
no, I
go
was just
ahead,
gonna
Lisa.
say, didn't our cousin work there for a little bit? Am I wrong?
Vic?
Yeah, did she work there?
Maybe, I think so.
I think she might have worked there a
That
little
would be
bit.
tough to have worked there.
But I remember, Mom, that was a place that when we walked up to Zare, she would save up to maybe do pizza oven on the walk back.
Yeah.
She liked their meatball sub.
Yes, she did. I
They make them
remember
meat.
that.
They made a mean. That's how I talk to the dog with bad grammar. They made. I don't know why.
I
They.
wondered why Des was talking that way.
I don't know why it's so cute. I purposely use bad grammar, but they made a really good meatball sub that mom, that was her jam. She
You're
was saving
right.
her
I
dollars
think
for that.
that was kind of other than the pizza, their specialty, that meatball
And
sub.
yes, I
Because
think
I
so too.
remember lots of people I knew like would
Like
go
their
just
meatball
for that.
sub.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The other one I
Pizza
was
oven.
thinking that was kind of cool that's like Jerry's, where I believe this is what I think. The original started in College Park, Maryland, or between Langley Park and College Park, and that's Lito's Pizza.
Oh, Lido's is good too.
Yeah,
It
the
has a
original
vibe
Lito's.
a little, sorry, Dad. It has a vibe a little with that square, I mean, that
Yes,
rectangular pizza, but it ain't pizza.
very, very much similar to
Mhm.
um Pizza Oven was the way Lito's did their pizza. They have like a
Yeah.
sweeter
I was just
sauce.
gonna say it's sweeter, and the other one had a little like a more nip to it, a little vinegar,
Yeah,
not vinegar,
yeah,
but not sweet. Yeah,
yeah. But the original Lito's started, I believe, in Maryland,
I
and
think
then
so
it
too.
became a franchise type thing.
My
I
kids
felt
love
like
Lido's.
they did a little bit better than Jerry's longevity wise because
Hmm.
it's still around.
Hmm.
And also, I think they stuck to, well, I don't know if they have other things or not. I've never
I
had anything
think
there
they
except pizza.
might. I think they might.
Oh,
Yeah,
they
I think
do?
they do.
Okay. But they stuck kind of with the original.
Definitely more known for its pizza, Lido's. Yeah,
Yeah,
for sure.
yeah,
That was the mom and dad loved that later on in
yeah.
life. They liked
But
Lido's
what's
a lot.
funny is I also had Burger Chef as
Did
one
too.
of my others. Yeah,
Yeah. Oh
because
my gosh.
I was so sure that was the name of that one there on the corner. But you're
You're
right.
probably right. It's hard for me to remember the locale because I would have been super little when
Yeah.
Burger Chef was around. Mhm.
Yeah.
Um, what else? Honorable mentions? Or that
Those were my only ones.
I have, before I say my number one, my honorable mention, this is also a haunt we would go to with Liz, is a sit down restaurant. It was attached to the Woolworths so you went through the door of the Woolworths, and it was called Harvest House. And it
Oh.
sounds like something gross or like a Betty Davis horror movie, but Harvest Home, that's like the dark tale of Harvest Home or something. But anyway, that's a story for another day. Um, it was a sit down, kind of had a little bit of a hot shops vibe, but definitely lower brow, much lower brow. But we'd go in and get a burger. And again, mom would be like, "Oh, we gotta sit down." She just wanted to
You know
like do
why I
the
think
fast
mom
thing.
was like that? Because
No.
I think she would get anxious. She would
Yeah.
get anxiety.
Yeah.
I'm that way a little bit now in my
Mhm.
older age,
Mhm.
mostly just because of the unpredictability of things these days, you
I,
know?
I think it's that. And also, she was home all week, not being able to drive. So once she was outside, she wanted to hit every shop and go on
True.
to the next thing. And we really
True.
covered a lot of mileage on Saturdays.
Yeah.
Because when you
Yeah.
think about it, then we went back out to grab some dinner at, whatever, and we watched shows and go places. But I really think it was kind of that too. She was like, "This is my day to go. I don't want to be sitting down waiting,
Yeah,
to
you're
get this,
probably right.
yeah, big time cooked food." But it could be that too. So that was my honorable mention. Oh, and my other honorable mention, I don't know how long it was around. I remember in the 80's, it was in Lake Forest Mall, and that's A&W. So
Oh, yeah.
yeah, a root beer joint, but just fast food vibe, except they did have the frosted mugs of root beer.
Yes.
So you ordered hot dogs, hamburgers, whatever, you sat down and they had the frosted mugs of root beer. I remember in the 80's enjoying that. But that's a little honorable mention. But my number one, and I don't want anyone to get it confused with whatever incarnation there is of it today, but my number one, most of the reason I like it is because when I was very little, remember we would go down to the beach house. So we
Mhm.
would drive down with our mom and dad, and sometimes Liz as well, of course. And we would stop in, I want to say Prince Frederick, Maryland, at the Hardee's.
Oh, yes.
Back in the day, the Hardee's was like orange and brown or something were their colors. And I got a set of these Looney Tune glasses slowly
Oh,
as we went each time. And I don't know what happened to them, but I love they were full size, sturdy as hell Looney Tunes glasses.
oh, they're
And I
probably worth the money.
and I would always look forward to getting the next one. So really, that's my number one. It sounds weird, but I'm nostalgic for the glasses and for the trip down there and that we got to eat out lunch there.
I'm nostalgic about that very same Hardee's because for most of my time spent down there, that was the closest and one and only fast food place
It's true. There's
from
nothing
there
past
to the
that.
beach house.
There's
Yeah.
nothing past that. No, you're right. You're right. Was there, when did they build that bridge that went across to that other bigger town? I know this sounds
It
weird, but
was during the time we would go down there, but towards the end of when I wouldn't be going anymore.
right, right. Because that was
So
the only other thing was like highs, but that was down in in Solomon's Island, which was such a little. Now I'm sure it's posh, but at the time it was not.
if
It was
you
like a
could
little
see it
fishing
now,
village.
you would be like, "What?"
It was like
Because
a little fishing village kind of thing.
and the last time I went down there was in 2010, and I was in shock that it was even the same place. I mean, it's beautiful, actually. It's really a
I bet it's
beautiful.
like top real estate dollar.
Yeah.
It's right on the water.
Yeah. I
So
can imagine what they would have gotten for their property, even though they were like what I guess you would say be a cross, whatever you would cross to get onto Solomon's Island.
right, right.
Um, but still close enough for
Mhm.
sure. I remember this little butcher grocery store that was very small, and that was the only place you could go get like a popsicle or something,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
like I don't even remember where the grocery store was. I think it was in Prince Frederick, the
I
same
think you
shopping
had to
center
do
as that Hardee's.
everything. I think that's why we stopped. I think you had to do
Yeah,
everything there. And I think they had a roses there. And you that we would get like if we wanted a little raft or something for the creek to
like a
float
little
around in the
department
creek.
store
Yeah.
type thing.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. Oh
But
my
I
goodness.
just remember those full size glasses. They were nice. And they stayed at the beach house. Every time we would go, we would drink out of those glasses. And I would try to get the next one.
I love that.
But
Is
yeah,
Hardee's the only one we both came up with that are still there?
I think so. I
Yeah,
think,
I
oh,
think it
my
is.
honorable mention is
Toledo's
also,
is still there.
yes, my honorable mention is also Roy Rogers because that
Yes.
was big. We definitely stopped at Roy Rogers when I was a kid, for sure.
We're
And that
losing a lot
stayed a
of
while. That
yeah,
stayed a while.
we're losing a lot of the Roy Rogers because there's
Mhm.
still one in Frederick.
Okay.
There might be two in Frederick actually. And I think there's one I don't know. That might be the only place that still has them.
And I know when we were kids and Roy Rogers was, I think, I don't know what year it came out, but they still had the things in there that showed pictures of the actor, Roy Rogers, who was really named after.
Yes.
They still had the memorabilia on the walls and the pictures of him with Traeger and his wife Dale Evans, um, and I think that kind of faded away as time went
A
on
little bit,
a
yeah.
little, yeah. But it had that Western vibe in there. It's very much a Western kind of joint.
And it was actually really good back in the day.
Yeah, it was good. It
I
was
have to tell a
definitely a
funny
step
tale on
up.
you.
Yeah, you can.
So my beautiful, well-preserved vegetarian sister here
Yeah.
used to so she's always been a very thin girl.
Hmm.
But we would go to Roy Rogers, and this little girl could put away some food.
I could. My friend Michelle from high school said, "Do you remember that time you ate the four it was from Burger King. It was like four. What's their sandwich that's so big?
Oh, the Whopper.
I ate four of them when we were at Beach Week."
Well, I remember, so Roy Rogers burgers are like quarter pound, I guess,
Yes, they're
something
not
like that.
McDonald's burgers. No, they're
Right. So she would eat two burgers, a large fry, and a milkshake, I think.
no, wait for this. Two burgers, a large fry, and a strawberry shortcake.
That was okay. I also would enjoy a strawberry shortcake.
So, although I've been vegetarian and then vegan for over 30 years, I probably still have meat fermenting in my colon.
You probably do. Your metabolism must
Oh my
be
God.
like,
I can't. Yeah. It's Granddad Williford's metabolism, right?
yes,
He was a
yes,
beanpole. Yeah. And our brother's pretty thin dude too. I mean,
yes,
it's
he
there's
is.
something there. And it could be also our great working out. That's a story for another day. But remember,
Yes,
you had me starting to work out at like 11 or 12.
yes,
So
yes. We will definitely be coming out
I think it's
with
that.
something related to that
Yes,
for
I think
sure.
it's that a good exercise, and that was a short period of time that I ate that way. So
I know,
those
but I
teenagers,
always marveled at it.
I
At it,
know
I
it's
was like,
impressive.
"Oh my gosh, how does she
Well,
do this?"
remember those ginormous Jerry's slices I was talking about? I
Yeah.
can still remember we ordered an extra large. We were teens, and I ate like four slices. And one of the girls that was already like, "I'm having lettuce" or whatever was like, "Where did you put that?"
It's the
And I was
truth.
like, what? I'm not full or whatever. I think they always talk about teenage boys having like, they're so hungry, but I was definitely so hungry as a teenager.
Yeah, yeah. That's so fun.
Oh,
Well,
man.
this was great. Hey, I wanted to say something to everybody. I think you may notice in this video that we might have figured out how to make ourselves be side by side and how to make things a little bit clearer in our video. So hopefully it's an improvement. We keep trying, we're learning. So learn along with us and come enjoy the show.
Definitely. And as always, we just want you to feel like you're privy to our chit chat that we're
Yeah.
going to have anyway, and you're part of the gang. So feel free to comment. If you have any memories or you're like, no, you guys, Shakey's was on this
Yeah.
street or whatever, let us know and tell us your favorites from back in the day. Doesn't have to be regional to our area, it could be anywhere.
Yeah, I'd
And
love to hear
subscribe.
because Yeah, because we do a lot of regional stuff, but I would love to hear about other people's
I
regional,
know,
um,
right? I know. That's
those
so fun.
Cali people, or
Yeah.
anybody out west. We would love to hear,
Mhm.
some of the cool restaurants there.
Yeah,
And
especially other.
Leann's right. Please subscribe, like,
Tell a
leave
friend.
comments. We would love it so much. It makes it more fun for
It
us
is
too,
fun. Definitely comment. Tell us some of when we make our list, tell us some of the things that you remember and that you like from back in
Yeah,
the day.
please.
It's fun. Yeah. Now it's about the time in the world we need a little fun. So let's do it.
And you can even mention Liz if you want to.
Yeah. You may know Liz.
Mind?
Subtitle to our show, a retro review slash the Liz show.
Yes. You might
Plus,
have to have her be a guest star
that's
sometime.
right. We should. Oh my gosh. She's that I'm sure she can recall better than us, probably.
She can. She
Yeah. Oh my
definitely
gosh.
got it all with it.
All right, Groovy Granny, this was fun as always, and we'll
Super
see
fun.
you guys next time. Love you, sis, and
Love
love to all
you
of you
too.
guys too. Be safe
Bye,
out there.
everybody.
Bye.